How Stoics deal with idiots, narcissists, and other difficult people. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Marcus Aurelius. Imagine this. You're trapped on a bus during the relentless rush hour, already dreading the day ahead, and overwhelmed by the unmistakable scent of sweat from the person in front of you. The discomfort intensifies when this individual turns out to be an incessant talker, loudly chatting on their phone, oblivious to the collective sighs around. When someone dares to interject, they're met with a snide remark and the conversation continues, unabated. This scenario is far from unique. We encounter such vexing characters daily, in traffic, at the workplace, and sometimes even at home. Their behaviors are as diverse as their backgrounds, ranging from blissful ignorance of social norms to a willful defiance of them. In this video on Stoic in Your Life, we delve into the wisdom of Stoicism to navigate the murky waters of interpersonal annoyances. We'll explore how to transcend the unpleasantness of noisy, smelly commutes, the challenges of interacting with difficult colleagues, and even the complexities of addressing narcissistic behaviors. Join us as we embark on a journey of self-discovery and learn how to turn every annoyance into a moment of reflection, with Stoicism as our guide. One, they accept that they cannot love everyone. Picture navigating through life with the calm wisdom of a Stoic, gracefully handling even the most difficult people you encounter. We don't live in a perfect world. It's filled with people who can drive us crazy, and sometimes we may do the same to others. But what if there were a way to deal with these challenging individuals that not only preserves your peace of mind, but also aligns with the timeless principles of Stoicism? Let's consider this. Have you ever wondered if it's possible to genuinely love everyone you meet? According to Professor Robert Sutton from Stanford University's Department of Management Science, creating a group composed entirely of close friends is not only impractical but impossible. This reality underscores a crucial point. Even the most intelligent and wise individuals recognize that they can't get along with everyone. Instead, they focus on finding appropriate ways to interact with those they find difficult. So, how do Stoics manage this delicate balance? The first step is acceptance. Stoics understand that it is unrealistic to expect to love everyone. This acceptance isn't about resigning to negativity. It's about recognizing the natural differences in values that exist between people. When you encounter someone you dislike, it's essential to remember that this person isn't inherently bad. The friction often arises from differing values, which can lead to judgment and conflict. As Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic philosopher, said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This means that our perceptions and judgments can color our interactions. Accepting that differences in values are natural helps diminish negative emotions and fosters a more neutral, even compassionate, perspective. Let's delve deeper. When you accept that not everyone will love you and vice versa, you liberate yourself from the burden of trying to force connections. This acceptance leads to emotional freedom and reduces negative feelings. Think of it this way. If you acknowledge that differences are an inherent part of human relationships, wouldn't that make it easier to remain calm and composed in the face of conflict? Moving forward, another essential Stoic principle is focusing on what you can control. You can't control other people's behavior, but you can control your response. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, wisely noted, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This perspective is empowering. Instead of being reactive, you become proactive in managing your emotions and responses. When you encounter a difficult person, instead of getting frustrated or angry, you can choose to remain calm and composed, reflecting on what you can learn from the situation. Now let's consider a practical scenario. Imagine you're at work and a colleague's behavior consistently annoys you. Perhaps they interrupt you during meetings or take credit for your ideas. Instead of stewing in anger, you could apply the Stoic practice of cognitive distancing. This technique involves taking a step back and observing your thoughts and feelings from a detached perspective. Ask yourself, why does this behavior bother me? Is it impacting my core values or just my ego? By analyzing your reactions, you gain insight into your triggers and can develop strategies to manage them better. Additionally, Stoics advocate for empathy and understanding. When you approach a difficult person with curiosity rather than judgment, you open the door to deeper understanding. Seneca, another prominent Stoic, advised, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. What might be driving their behavior? Are they under stress or pressure? This shift in perspective can transform your interactions, making them more compassionate and less confrontational. Engaging with difficult people also offers a chance to practice patience and tolerance, key virtues in Stoic philosophy. Instead of viewing these encounters as obstacles, see them as opportunities to cultivate inner strength and resilience. Each challenging interaction is a test of your Stoic principles, allowing you to practice staying calm, centered, and rational. Let's put this into practice. Next time you find yourself dealing with a difficult person, pause and reflect. What can you learn from this encounter? How can you apply Stoic principles to maintain your inner peace? Engage your audience with these open-ended questions, encouraging them to reflect on their own experiences. 1. Incorporate famous quotes to reinforce these ideas. For example, recall the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This quote underscores the importance of maintaining your integrity and values, regardless of others' actions. Or consider Epictetus's advice. "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." This reminder helps us focus on our responses and let go of what we cannot control. As you navigate through life, remember that dealing with difficult people is an inevitable part of the human experience. By embracing Stoic principles, acceptance, focusing on what you can control, practicing empathy, and viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, you can handle these encounters with grace and wisdom. Reflect on these ideas, apply them to your own life, and you'll find that even the most challenging interactions can become manageable, if not meaningful, steps on your Stoic journey. Ask yourself, how can you apply these Stoic principles the next time you encounter a difficult person? How might shifting your perspective change the dynamic of your interactions? By reflecting on these questions and incorporating the wisdom of Stoicism, you can navigate the complexities of human relationships with a serene mind and resilient spirit. 2. They tolerate or ignore those they dislike. Dealing with difficult people is an inevitable part of life, especially in our interconnected world. Whether you're facing a narcissistic colleague, a stubborn family member, or an inconsiderate neighbor, handling such interactions with grace and wisdom is crucial. Let's dive into the Stoic approach to managing these relationships, a timeless strategy that empowers us to remain composed and focused in the face of adversity. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, navigating interactions with difficult individuals is seen as an opportunity for personal growth and the cultivation of virtue. Stoics understand that encountering people who test our patience and challenge our views is not a curse, but a necessary aspect of life that hones our character. When dealing with difficult people, the first step is to tolerate or ignore those we dislike. As Professor Sutton points out, you need people with different viewpoints who are not afraid to argue. They are the ones who prevent the whole group from doing stupid things. This diversity of opinion, while sometimes frustrating, is essential for our growth. Those who challenge us often bring new perspectives and ideas that can lead to greater success for the group as a whole. By tolerating these individuals, we not only show respect for their viewpoints, but also remind ourselves that we are not perfect, and that others are likely tolerating us as well. This mutual understanding fosters a more harmonious and productive environment, Stoics also emphasize dealing with those we dislike in a civilized manner. No matter our personal feelings, maintaining politeness and professionalism is crucial. As Ben Datner, psychologist and author of The Blame Game, notes, practicing a diplomatic face is very important. You need to show professionalism and positivity. When we behave politely towards difficult individuals, we set a standard of civility that they are likely to reciprocate. On the contrary, rudeness begets rudeness, creating a vicious cycle of negativity. By consistently choosing kindness and professionalism, we not only preserve our dignity, but also influence others to respond similarly. Moreover, the Stoic practice of empathy plays a significant role in managing difficult relationships. Epictetus taught, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening actively to others, even those we find challenging, allows us to understand their perspectives and motivations better. This understanding fosters compassion, reducing our frustration, and helping us to respond more thoughtfully. Empathy does not mean agreeing with the difficult person, but rather acknowledging their humanity and the validity of their experiences. In modern life, dealing with difficult people can be particularly trying, given the fast pace and high stress of our daily routines. However, by applying Stoic principles, we can transform these encounters into opportunities for personal development. For instance, when faced with a narcissistic colleague who constantly seeks validation and belittles others, a Stoic would recognize this behavior as a manifestation of that person's insecurities. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, they would practice patience and set boundaries calmly but firmly. This approach not only protects their own peace of mind, but also models respectful behavior for others. Similarly, when dealing with a stubborn family member who refuses to see reason, a Stoic would employ the principle of sympathetic understanding. They would strive to understand the underlying fears or beliefs, driving the stubbornness, and address those concerns with empathy and respect. As Seneca advised, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. By approaching difficult conversations with a calm and open mind, we can alleviate much of the anxiety and frustration that these interactions typically provoke. The Stoic approach to handling difficult people is not about suppressing our emotions or ignoring our needs. Rather, it is about choosing our responses thoughtfully and maintaining our inner tranquility despite external challenges. It teaches us to see every difficult person as a teacher, offering valuable lessons in patience, empathy, and self-control. As we incorporate these practices into our daily lives, we become more resilient and capable individuals, better equipped to navigate the complexities of human relationships. Embracing the Stoic method of dealing with difficult people can significantly enhance our interactions and personal growth. By tolerating different viewpoints, maintaining civility, practicing empathy, and choosing our responses wisely, we can transform challenging encounters into opportunities for development. As we apply these timeless principles to modern life, we not only improve our relationships, but also cultivate a more serene and resilient spirit. Remember, the true measure of a person's strength is not in their ability to avoid difficulties, but in how they handle them with grace and wisdom. 3. They reassess their expectations. Dealing with difficult people such as narcissists or those who seem intent on being an idiot can be one of the biggest challenges we face in our day-to-day lives. As a Stoic, understanding and handling such interactions with grace and resilience is key to maintaining our inner peace and composure. One crucial step in managing these encounters is reassessing our expectations of others. It's not uncommon to expect people to behave in ways we find logical or reasonable. However, this expectation often sets us up for disappointment. As Alan A. Caviola, a psychology professor at Monmouth University, USA, points out, everyone has deep-seated personality traits that largely determine their reactions. Expecting others to act like you will only lead to more disappointment. When someone consistently behaves in a way that frustrates or angers you, it's time to adjust your expectations. Recognize that their behavior is a reflection of their own personality and experiences, not a personal affront. By doing this, you prepare yourself mentally, reducing the likelihood of being caught off guard by their actions. It's also essential to keep your emotions in check and focus on your own reactions rather than the other person's behavior. This introspection can be revealing. Often, the traits we despise in others are those we struggle with ourselves. By identifying these triggers, we can better understand our emotional responses. This self-awareness allows us to predict, suppress, or even alter our reactions. Remember, changing our perception, attitude, and behavior is always more manageable than expecting someone else to change. Consider this. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's behavior consistently irritated you? Perhaps it was a colleague who always took credit for your work, or a family member who never respected your boundaries. The frustration can build up, leading to stress and resentment. But if you take a step back and reassess your expectations, you might find a different perspective. Instead of expecting them to change, you adjust your response. By accepting their behavior as part of who they are, you can better manage your emotional response and maintain your tranquility. Let's weave in a modern story to illustrate this concept. Meet John, a project manager in his mid-40s who loves his job but has a colleague, Mike, who's notoriously difficult. Mike always has to be right, interrupts constantly, and never takes responsibility when things go wrong. Initially, John found himself getting increasingly annoyed and stressed out. He dreaded meetings with Mike and would often go home feeling drained and frustrated. Then, John decided to apply a Stoic approach. He reassessed his expectations. Instead of hoping Mike would suddenly become a considerate team player, John accepted Mike's behavior as a given. He started preparing for interactions with Mike by focusing on his own reactions. When Mike interrupted, John would calmly wait for his turn to speak instead of getting flustered. When Mike tried to deflect blame, John would address the issues factually without getting emotionally involved. Over time, John noticed a significant decrease in his stress levels. Mike's behavior didn't change, but John's response did, and that made all the difference. This story brings us to an open-ended question for you to ponder. How often do you find yourself frustrated by someone's behavior? And what would happen if you adjusted your expectations instead of hoping for them to change? By examining our own reactions and adjusting our expectations, we can navigate interactions with difficult people more effectively. This shift in perspective not only helps us maintain our composure, but also allows us to manage our emotions better. The key takeaway here is that we have the power to change our reactions and perceptions. By doing so, we can handle difficult people with a calm and composed demeanor, staying true to our Stoic principles. This approach not only protects our inner peace, but also helps us build resilience in the face of adversity. So next time you find yourself dealing with someone who tests your patience, remember to reassess your expectations and focus on your reactions. It's a small shift in mindset that can lead to a significant improvement in your well-being. If you've made it this far, you're a true Stoic in the making. Drop a comment saying, "I choose calm," to show you're dedicated to mastering the art of dealing with difficult people. Stay tuned, the journey is just beginning. 4. The practice of pausing and deep breathing. What if you're navigating the daily challenges of life, encountering those difficult individuals who seem to test your patience at every turn? The idiots, narcissists, and all sorts of troublesome people. As a Stoic, you're not just aiming to endure these encounters, but to rise above them with grace and wisdom. How can you effectively deal with these challenging interactions while maintaining your inner peace and self-control? One powerful technique is the practice of pausing and deep breathing, a method that is both simple and profoundly effective. Let's delve deeper into this practice. When we find ourselves in stressful situations, our natural reaction might be to respond impulsively, often with heightened emotions. Kathleen Bartle, a seasoned conflict consultant, emphasizes a technique that resonates deeply with Stoic principles. Taking a moment to pause, and breathe deeply. This act, although seemingly trivial, serves as a critical mental reset button, giving you the opportunity to detach from the immediacy of the moment. Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed or were on the verge of a reactive outburst. At that precise moment, what if you had simply paused? By taking a deep breath, inhaling slowly and deeply, then exhaling just as slowly, you activate your body's natural relaxation response. This simple practice can lower your heart rate and blood pressure, inducing a state of calm. It's not merely about achieving physical relaxation. It's about granting yourself a moment to step back from your initial emotional reaction. Consider the words of Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you pause and breathe deeply, you are exerting control over your mind. You are creating a space between stimulus and response, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, which allows for a more reasoned and rational approach to the situation at hand. Picture this scenario. Someone says something hurtful or incredibly frustrating. Your immediate impulse might be to snap back or defend yourself vehemently. Instead, picture yourself pausing, taking that deep breath. In that brief moment, you gain clarity. You remind yourself that the Stoic way is to respond with wisdom, not impulsiveness. How might your response differ after such a pause? Likely, you would respond more thoughtfully, possibly even with empathy, or at the very least, with a calm demeanor that diffuses rather than escalates the situation. Pausing and deep breathing is not just about calming yourself. It's a deliberate practice that aligns with the Stoic goal of achieving inner tranquility. This method allows you to distance yourself from the chaos of immediate emotions and see the situation with a clearer, more composed perspective. Epictetus, another influential Stoic philosopher, advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This practice is a practical embodiment of that wisdom. You might be wondering, how can such a simple act make such a significant difference? The power lies in its consistency and intention. Every time you practice this technique, you are training your mind to slow down and assess situations more rationally. It's a form of mental discipline that strengthens your capacity to handle stress and confrontation gracefully. This is not just a theoretical concept, it's a practical tool you can use in every interaction. Reflect on the impact this could have on your daily life. In the workplace, for instance, where conflicts and challenging interactions are almost inevitable, imagine approaching each situation with a calm and collected mindset. How might your relationships improve if you consistently responded with thoughtfulness rather than reaction? Or consider your personal life, dealing with family or friends who might sometimes push your buttons. How would your interactions transform if you could maintain your composure through the practice of pausing and deep breathing? The beauty of this practice is its accessibility. It requires no special equipment, no advanced training, just a commitment to incorporate it into your daily routine. Start by practicing it in low-stress situations. Gradually, as you become more adept, you will find it easier to employ this technique when faced with more challenging encounters. Over time, this practice can become second nature, an automatic response to any stressful or confrontational situation. As you integrate this practice into your life, remember the wisdom of Seneca, another Stoic philosopher. Sometimes even to live is an act of courage. In today's fast-paced and often contentious world, maintaining your inner peace amidst external turmoil is indeed a courageous act. By pausing and taking that deep breath, you are choosing to live courageously, with intention and wisdom. So the next time you encounter a difficult person, remember the power of the pause. Take that deep breath, allow yourself a moment of calm, and then respond with the clarity and composure that embodies Stoic philosophy. How do you think this practice could change the way you interact with the world? What benefits could you experience from approaching life's challenges with this simple yet profound technique? The journey of Stoicism is one of continuous improvement and growth, and the practice of pausing and deep breathing is a valuable step along that path. Embrace it and see how it transforms not just your interactions, but your entire approach to life. 5. Articulating your needs with clarity and respect. Have you ever felt drained by the toxic energy of difficult people? The wisdom of Stoicism offers timeless strategies to navigate interactions with such individuals, allowing us to maintain our inner peace and integrity, even amidst chaos. Stoicism teaches the importance of clear and honest communication. When someone's behavior or words make you uncomfortable, it's crucial to express your feelings calmly and directly. This isn't about assigning blame, but rather about conveying your perspective in a way that is both respectful and assertive. For instance, if a colleague frequently interrupts you during meetings, address the issue by clearly stating your feelings and the specific behavior causing them. You might say, "When you interrupt me during meetings, I feel like my contributions are undervalued." This approach is not confrontational, but rather an honest expression of your feelings. It opens the door for the other person to understand your perspective and perhaps explain their actions. They might not have realized their behavior's impact on you, or maybe their interruptions were a misguided way of showing enthusiasm for your ideas. By communicating your needs in this manner, you're practicing a key Stoic principle, focusing on what you can control, your actions and responses. Now let's delve deeper into the significance of this approach and how it relates to our modern lives. Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This powerful quote emphasizes the Stoic commitment to embodying virtues through our actions rather than merely discussing them. When dealing with difficult people, articulating your needs with clarity and respect becomes an embodiment of this principle. In today's fast-paced and often stressful work environments, we frequently encounter individuals whose behaviors can be disruptive or even harmful. However, instead of resorting to anger or passive aggression, the Stoic way teaches us to address these issues with a calm and composed demeanor. By stating our feelings and the specific actions that cause discomfort, we take control of the situation and steer it towards a constructive resolution. Think about a scenario where you're working on an important project and a team member constantly undermines your contributions with sarcastic remarks. Instead of letting frustration build up, a Stoic approach would be to have a private conversation with this individual. You could say, "I've noticed that your comments during our meetings often come across as dismissive, which makes me feel like my input isn't valued. Can we work together to ensure that everyone's ideas are heard and respected?" This not only addresses the problem directly, but also shows respect for the other person's perspective, fostering a more collaborative and positive work environment. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, wisely noted, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This quote underscores the importance of self-sufficiency and the dangers of relying on external validation. When we articulate our needs with clarity and respect, we are not seeking approval or validation from others, but rather asserting our right to be heard and respected. In the realm of personal relationships, this Stoic principle is equally vital. Imagine you have a friend who constantly cancels plans at the last minute. Instead of harboring resentment or passive-aggressively responding, you might approach them calmly and say, "When our plans are frequently canceled, it makes me feel unimportant. I value our time together and hope we can find a way to be more consistent." This honest expression opens the door for a constructive dialogue and potentially strengthens the relationship. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, reminds us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters." This wisdom is at the heart of the Stoic approach to dealing with difficult people. By focusing on our responses rather than the actions of others, we maintain our inner tranquility and uphold our values. In today's interconnected world, where communication is often fraught with misunderstandings and conflicts, The Stoic approach to articulating needs with clarity and respect is more relevant than ever. It empowers us to navigate challenging interactions with grace and integrity, fostering environments where mutual respect and understanding can flourish. By embodying these principles, we not only enhance our own well-being, but also contribute positively to the dynamics of our workplaces, friendships, and communities. Dealing with difficult people is an inevitable part of life. However, by embracing the Stoic principles of clear and respectful communication, we can transform these challenges into opportunities for growth and understanding. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By taking control of our actions and responses, we navigate the complexities of human interactions with wisdom and poise, ensuring that our inner peace remains undisturbed. 6. Creating healthy boundaries. Let's continue to dive into how Stoics handle difficult people, such as idiots, narcissists, and other challenging personalities, by focusing on the concept of creating healthy boundaries. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions or avoiding difficult people. It's about managing your reactions and maintaining inner tranquility. A practical way to achieve this is by creating physical and emotional distance from those who challenge your peace of mind. Think about your workplace. If there's someone whose presence disrupts your peace, it might be wise to create a physical buffer. This could mean choosing a seat further away from them in meetings or finding a different room to work in when possible. However, don't just stop at physical distance. It's equally important to cultivate a sense of empathy. Remember, everyone is fighting their own battles. This perspective helps maintain a balanced view of people, making it easier to interact with various personalities. Setting boundaries doesn't mean avoidance. It's about interacting in a way that preserves your inner peace. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control others' actions, we can control our reactions and interactions with them. By mindfully managing these interactions, you can maintain a sense of calm and composure, even in less than ideal circumstances. Let's consider a modern example. Imagine you have a colleague, Sam, who constantly criticizes your work. Every meeting with Sam leaves you frustrated and doubting your abilities. Instead of dreading every interaction, apply Stoic principles. First, create a physical distance by choosing a seat away from Sam in meetings. If possible, find a different workspace. But don't just physically distance yourself. Emotionally, detach as well. Understand that Sam's behavior may stem from his own insecurities and battles. This empathetic view can transform your frustration into compassion, allowing you to interact with him calmly. By setting these boundaries, you protect your inner peace without completely avoiding Sam. When you do interact, focus on controlling your reactions. If Sam criticizes your work again, take a deep breath and remind yourself that his words do not define your worth. Respond with calmness and professionalism, and you'll find that his criticisms lose their sting. Here's another scenario. Jane, a friend of yours, tends to dominate conversations and rarely listens. Her narcissistic tendencies make spending time with her exhausting. Instead of cutting Jane out of your life, create healthy boundaries. Limit your interactions and choose settings that are less conducive to her monopolizing the conversation, like group gatherings rather than one-on-one meetings. When you do spend time with her, practice active listening but also assertively guide the conversation to be more balanced. Recognize that Jane's need to dominate discussions might come from a place of deep-seated insecurity. Creating these boundaries doesn't just apply to in-person interactions. In the digital age, managing your interactions online is equally important. If you find that social media interactions with certain people drain you, set limits. Unfollow or mute those whose posts negatively impact your mood. Curate your online space to reflect positivity and inspiration. Remember, your mental space is just as valuable as your physical one. Stoic principles remind us that we cannot control others, but we can control how we respond to them. This includes setting boundaries to protect our peace without harboring resentment or anger. It's about finding the balance between empathy and self-preservation. Now let's reflect on your own life. Are there people whose presence disrupts your peace? How can you create healthy boundaries to manage these interactions better? Consider your responses and how you might apply Stoic principles to maintain your tranquility. Engaging with this content actively can lead to profound personal growth. The lesson from Stoicism here is clear. Creating healthy boundaries is essential for maintaining inner peace. Whether it's in the workplace, with friends, or online, managing your reactions and interactions with difficult people can transform your daily experience. By understanding that everyone is fighting their own battles and practicing empathy, you can approach challenging personalities with a calm and composed mindset. Remember, it's not about avoiding people. It's about setting boundaries that protect your inner tranquility while allowing you to interact with others in a balanced and respectful way. How will you start implementing these boundaries in your life today? Thank you for being part of today's video. I truly appreciate your participation in our community. Feel free to share your thoughts, or simply comment, "I am a newbie" if you're new, or "I am a Stoic" if you've been with us for a while. Your interaction is a tremendous source of motivation for us. Let's continue this journey together, shall we? How did the Stoic Greek philosophers teach us how to deal with unpleasant and narcissistic people? 1. In the wake of his exile from Rome, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus found refuge in Nicopolis, a Grecian city where he established a philosophical academy. There he mentored Arion, a young prodigy whose efforts immortalized Epictetus's wisdom by documenting his lectures and distilling his profound teachings into essential life lessons. Among these teachings, Epictetus touched upon the Roman bathing culture, a vital aspect of their societal life. The public baths, inherited from the Greeks, were more than mere sites for cleanliness. They were hubs of social interaction. Romans, including the elite who owned private baths, would frequent these public spaces to mingle, network, and for politicians to win favor among the populace. Yet these baths were also scenes of misconduct, with some engaging in disruptive or even thievish behavior. Epictetus used this example to illustrate a broader point about human nature and how we should respond to difficult people. He believed that human nature and its vices are ageless, persisting through millennia. So, what did Epictetus advise when faced with such vexations? He taught that one should reflect on the nature of daily pursuits and anticipate the inherent challenges of public spaces. Imagine walking into a public bathhouse, expecting it to be a serene place, but instead you find it full of noise, splashing, and rude behavior. Epictetus suggested that by accepting these as part of the experience, we could remain unfazed when confronted with them. This principle can be applied to modern life. Whether you're dealing with a difficult person at work, a noisy neighbor, or someone who cuts you off in traffic, if you expect such behavior and accept it as part of the human experience, you can maintain your peace. It's about managing your expectations and not allowing external events to disturb your inner tranquility. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic, echoed this sentiment in his Meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By acknowledging that we cannot control the actions of others but can control our responses, we empower ourselves to stay calm and composed. Have you ever noticed how getting angry or upset often exacerbates a situation rather than improving it? Stoicism teaches us to pause and consider our reactions. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then why let it disturb your peace? Epictetus advised that we should make the best use of what is in our power and take the rest as it happens. This means focusing on our actions and responses rather than trying to change others. Engaging with difficult people provides an excellent opportunity to practice patience and resilience. Instead of reacting with frustration, try to see the situation from their perspective. What might be driving their behavior? Are they acting out of fear, insecurity, or a lack of understanding? By empathizing with them, we can often diffuse our own negative emotions and respond more calmly. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Much of our distress comes from our interpretation of events rather than the events themselves. By changing our perspective, we can alleviate much of our suffering. Let's consider a practical example. Suppose you have a coworker who constantly seeks attention and disrupts meetings. Instead of getting irritated, recognize that their behavior is a reflection of their own struggles, not a personal attack on you. By managing your expectations and not taking their actions personally, you can maintain your composure. You might even find ways to support them constructively, turning a potentially negative interaction into a positive one. Another powerful tool from Stoic philosophy is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves mentally preparing for potential challenges before they arise. By imagining various difficulties you might face, you can reduce their impact when they occur. For example, before entering a stressful situation, take a moment to visualize potential obstacles and how you might respond with equanimity. This practice helps to build resilience and prevent you from being caught off guard. How often do we let small inconveniences ruin our day? Epictetus's teachings remind us that such disruptions are part of life. By expecting them and accepting them, we can navigate our days with greater ease. This doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent, but rather approaching life with a sense of prepared acceptance. Imagine how much calmer and more centered you would feel if you no longer allowed difficult people to upset you. Instead, you could view each interaction as an opportunity to practice patience, empathy, and resilience. To truly embody Stoic principles, it's essential to practice them daily. Reflect on your interactions and consider how you might respond differently next time. Can you approach a challenging situation with more patience? Can you see things from another's perspective and respond with empathy? As you incorporate these practices into your life, you'll find that dealing with difficult people becomes less of a burden and more of a chance to grow. Stoic philosophy offers timeless wisdom for dealing with difficult people. By managing our expectations, focusing on what we can control, practicing empathy, and preparing for challenges, we can maintain our inner peace even in the face of adversity. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Difficult people and situations are not obstacles but opportunities to practice and strengthen our Stoic virtues. So, next time you encounter someone challenging, take a deep breath, reflect on these teachings, and see it as a chance to cultivate your inner calm and resilience. How will you apply these Stoic principles in your life today? Have you ever found yourself frustrated by the daily commute, surrounded by noisy, inconsiderate strangers, and felt your blood pressure rise with every delay? Picture this scenario. The bus is late, the train is crowded, and your patience is running thin. How do you maintain your composure in such situations? The wisdom of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus offers a profound insight into handling these everyday challenges with grace and tranquility. As Epictetus wisely put it, "As you set out to bathe, keep in mind the nature of the act, but also strive to maintain serenity. Should an obstacle arise, remind yourself that your aim was not only to bathe, but to keep your composure aligned with nature." This advice is not just about bathing, but about embracing inner peace and rational response, regardless of external circumstances. Epictetus's teachings remind us to approach every situation with a calm mind and realistic expectations. When you embark on your daily commute, view it as an opportunity to practice Stoic principles. Understand that the journey will not always be smooth or pleasant. You might encounter loud conversations, crowded spaces, or people who test your patience. Instead of succumbing to irritation, set the stage with realistic expectations. Acknowledge that delays are part of the experience and prepare yourself mentally for the various personalities you might encounter. Once you've set realistic expectations, the next step is to cultivate a fortress of calm within. As you step onto the bus or train, remind yourself of your dedication to Stoic principles. Epictetus teaches us that true mastery lies not in controlling external events but in managing our reactions to them. When faced with the cacophony of a bustling commute, practice observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Recognize that the frustration and annoyance you feel are within your control. By shifting your focus inward and maintaining a tranquil mind, you can navigate through the chaos with grace. Consider Marcus Aurelius's advice. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This quote reinforces the idea that our strength lies in our ability to control our reactions, not the external world. By adopting this mindset, you can transform your daily commute into a Stoic exercise in patience and inner peace. Think about the larger picture and how these principles apply to other areas of your life. Whether dealing with difficult colleagues at work, navigating family conflicts, or facing unexpected challenges, the same Stoic approach can be applied. By setting realistic expectations and cultivating inner calm, you can handle life's difficulties with greater ease and resilience. In modern life, where stress and anxiety are common, the teachings of Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius offer timeless wisdom. They remind us that while we cannot control external events, we have the power to control our reactions. This shift in perspective can lead to a more serene and fulfilling life. So the next time you find yourself frustrated during your commute, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Set realistic expectations, cultivate inner tranquility, and remind yourself of the greater purpose of maintaining your composure. By doing so, you will not only navigate the chaos of daily life more effectively, but also embody the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and self-control. As Seneca said, "It's not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it's because we do not dare that they are difficult." Dare to apply these Stoic principles, and you'll find that dealing with idiots, narcissists, and other difficult people becomes a manageable part of your journey toward a more serene and resilient life. 3. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to walk in the shoes of a great leader, constantly scrutinized and challenged, yet remaining a beacon of strength and wisdom? This is the story of Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Roman emperor and devout Stoic, who navigated the complexities of leadership and personal philosophy amidst a sea of demanding individuals. Think of carrying the weight of an empire on your shoulders, under the constant gaze of envy from those eager to take your place. Now, envision yourself as the most pivotal figure of your era, with every decision and directive shaping the course of history. Marcus Aurelius stood in this very arena, seeking wisdom and inner peace, often turning to his personal diary to dissect and understand the intricacies of life and the human psyche. His reflections explored the art of resilience in the face of adversity, the quest for life's meaning, the essence of human nature, and the challenge of dealing with difficult personalities. Take, for example, his Stoic approach to something as mundane yet vexing as body odors. Instead of succumbing to irritation, Marcus Aurelius used reason and empathy to understand and, if possible, help the person recognize the issue. This exemplifies the Stoic principle of focusing on our sphere of influence, our responses and actions, while fostering acceptance and empathy toward elements beyond our control, such as the actions of others. Thank you for staying tuned. How do you deal with difficult people in your life, like idiots, narcissists, or others who challenge your peace? I'd love to hear your experiences and thoughts. If you're not sure what to comment, you can simply write, "I practice Stoic calm." As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Let these words resonate with us, instilling confidence as we navigate the complexities of human interactions and life's journey. When dealing with behaviors from those close to us, like family members, the wisdom of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus can be a guiding light. He advises us to find a new vantage point, the handle by which we can lift the situation. Essentially, the perspective that empowers us to approach the matter constructively and healthily. This often means focusing on the positive aspects of the relationship or the individual's commendable traits rather than fixating on the negative. However, as you wisely note, there are times when an individual's toxicity overshadows any positivity, making the relationship untenable despite efforts to see the good. In such cases, it's crucial to establish firm boundaries or take a step back to safeguard one's mental peace. The Stoics valued inner calm and wisdom, recognizing that sometimes the most prudent course is to protect oneself from harmful influences. 5. Dealing with difficult people, be it idiots, narcissists, or otherwise challenging individuals, is a common struggle we all face. The Stoics offer timeless wisdom to navigate these interactions with grace and resilience. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the understanding that while we cannot control others' actions or attitudes, we can always control our responses. This is the key to maintaining our peace and integrity amidst turmoil. Think about this. You've been dealing with a particularly toxic family member for years, enduring their negativity and disrespect. The decision to finally distance yourself wasn't made on a whim. It was a well-considered choice, reflecting a deep understanding of your own boundaries and well-being. The Stoics teach that passivity and endless suffering under mistreatment aren't virtues. Instead, they urge us to recognize what's within our power and to act according to our values and principles, even when it means making tough decisions like cutting ties with a family member. Epictetus, a revered Stoic philosopher, often emphasized the importance of acknowledging our agency in life's challenges. He believed we should not feel burdened by or despondent in the face of difficult people, because we possess the ultimate choice in how we respond. This is a profound realization. To endure or to walk away is within our power. Your decision to create distance from a toxic relative was a testament to your self-respect and affirmation of your self-worth. It was a practical application of Stoic principles, recognizing what is within your control and living by your values to seek tranquility, regardless of external conditions. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, Epictetus wisely said. Your reaction, one of strength and self-preservation, is a true reflection of Stoic resolve. Consider the story of a modern office worker named Jane, who had a narcissistic boss that constantly belittled and manipulated her. Jane, initially patient and hopeful that things would improve, finally recognized that her peace of mind and dignity were worth more than the paycheck. She chose to leave the toxic environment, a decision that echoed the Stoic teachings of prioritizing virtue and inner peace over external circumstances. Jane's story is a reminder that sometimes the most courageous act is to walk away, not in defeat, but in the affirmation of one's self-worth and values. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, our actions and responses. They upheld virtue as the ultimate good, advocating for a life aligned with nature and rationality. When dealing with difficult people, this means responding with patience, understanding, and, when necessary, the strength to distance ourselves. Ask yourself, how often do you allow the behavior of others to disturb your peace? How might your life change if you focused solely on your own responses and actions? The Stoic approach to dealing with difficult people isn't about enduring endless mistreatment or responding with anger. It's about making thoughtful, rational decisions based on our values. And sometimes, the most rational choice is to walk away. By doing so, we assert our control, protect our tranquility, and live in accordance with our true selves. Remember, the measure of a person is not in the challenges they face, but in how they choose to respond. As you navigate the difficult people in your life, reflect on what you can control, respond with virtue, and never be afraid to make the tough choices that safeguard your peace and integrity. By embracing empathy and understanding, and by maintaining a healthy distance when needed, we can transform how we react to these individuals. This doesn't mean accepting mistreatment or being a pushover. Rather, it means setting strong boundaries and proactively defending ourselves without compromising our inner peace. One powerful aspect of Stoicism is its stance on revenge. As the ancient Stoics taught, seeking vengeance harms us more than it does the person who wronged us. It's a self-defeating cycle that drags us away from a path of virtue and enlightenment. As Seneca wisely noted, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This principle reminds us that we have the power to choose our responses and to rise above petty grievances. Forgiveness in Stoic philosophy is not about letting the offender off the hook, but about preserving our own tranquility. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." By forgiving others, we protect our peace of mind and prevent their actions from dictating our emotional state. This principle is transformative, allowing us to focus on what truly matters, our judgments and responses, rather than others' deeds. Imagine the empowerment that comes from understanding that we are only affected by our own judgments and responses, not by the actions of others. This realization is at the heart of Stoic thought and grants us the power to choose our responses to any situation, no matter how challenging. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, emphasized this with his teaching. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Stoicism also teaches us to differentiate between what we can control, our emotions and choices, and what we cannot control, the actions and opinions of others. Embracing this distinction fosters autonomy and serenity, freeing us from the chains of external circumstances and other people's behavior. This lesson is crucial for anyone seeking personal growth and resilience in the face of adversity. Consider how this philosophy can be applied in your daily life. When dealing with difficult people, ask yourself, is my reaction within my control? This question prompts self-reflection and helps you shift your focus from the uncontrollable to what you can influence, your own mindset and actions. By doing so, you reclaim your power and prevent others from dictating your emotional state. For those on a journey of personal development, exploring the path of the prosperous Stoic can be incredibly rewarding. This path encourages us to live true to our nature and values, rather than being swayed by the pursuit of acceptance or the fear of rejection. As we navigate social dynamics, it's essential to remain anchored in our principles, which serve as a guiding light amidst the chaos. The Stoics believed that living in accordance with nature and reason leads to true happiness. This involves aligning our actions with our values and maintaining our integrity, regardless of external pressures. When faced with difficult individuals, this philosophy reminds us to stay true to ourselves and not be swayed by others' negativity. As Epictetus advised, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. In essence, Stoicism provides a robust framework for dealing with life's challenges, including interactions with difficult people. By focusing on what we can control, our reactions, judgments, and actions, we cultivate inner peace and resilience. This approach not only helps us navigate tough social dynamics, but also enhances our overall well-being. So, next time you encounter a difficult person, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Reflect on your reactions, set clear boundaries, and stay true to your values. Ask yourself open-ended questions like, how can I respond in a way that aligns with my principles? And what can I learn from this interaction? These reflections encourage growth and self-awareness, turning challenging encounters into opportunities for personal development. As you continue on your Stoic journey, keep these teachings close to your heart. The path of the Stoic is one of empowerment, resilience, and inner peace. By embracing these principles, you can navigate the ebbs and flows of life with a serene mind and a resilient spirit, turning even the most challenging interactions into stepping stones toward personal growth and enlightenment. In the intricate dance of human interactions, especially when it's with those who exude narcissism or toxicity, like the family member we've alluded to, The wisdom of the Stoics shines like a beacon. They would counsel us that our value isn't tethered to the opinions of others. True validation springs from within, from living a life aligned with our own values and principles. Consider the Stoic practice of discerning what lies within our realm of influence. Rather than attempting to alter the intractable individual or engaging in a fruitless quest for retribution, endeavors that are beyond our sway and likely to amplify our vexation, we have the sovereign ability to choose our responses and our level of engagement. We are the architects of our boundaries, the custodians of our serenity, determining the when and how, or indeed the if, of our interactions. The Stoic principle of amor fati, the love of one's fate, becomes particularly pertinent. It invites us to welcome all that life presents, including the trials and the trying individuals, as avenues to cultivate virtue and personal growth. Stoics don't waste wishes on altering reality. They embrace it wholeheartedly, trusting that each piece, no matter how puzzling, has its place in the mosaic of the greater good. And they remind us, with the gentle finality of a sunset, of the transient nature of all things. The tempests of challenging relationships and circumstances are but passing gales in the grand scheme of our existence. This perspective is a compass that guides us through the tumult, ensuring we don't become ensnared in bitterness or vengeful fantasies. Instead, we anchor ourselves in the present, cultivating gratitude and living true to our values, irrespective of the actions or words of others. Embracing this Stoic path with consistency carves out a life of tranquility, integrity, and sagacity, independent of the external chaos or the conduct of those around us. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe, as Marcus Aurelius once said. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of how Stoics deal with difficult people. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming videos. May you all find unity with the Creator and the cosmos. Until next time, stay strong and stay stoic.